Jawad. So my name is Yana. I'm from Russia. I played tennis for Clemson and I went to grad school at FIU. So I played for them as well for 1 year, and I also played pro right before coming to college. Got to top 400 in the world. And right now I'm just coaching tennis. So on the other side, but still on the tennis court. So I started playing when I was just 5 years old. My dad just wanted me to get into sports, so I would be athletic, because he thought that that's a great thing for a kid to do. And then just kind of escalated that I started taking lessons, private lessons, group lessons, and all of a sudden I kind of got good. And by the age of 7, I was already playing tournaments. So it wasn't really planned, but it just kind of ended up like that. Well, dropping out of school was never really a plan per se. It was just, I went to Florida to train when I was 15, so we moved with my grandma. And so I wasn't able to continue the Russian school. We thought that it would be possible, but it wasn't. And then, so that's just kind of how I ended up just playing tennis and not being in school for some time. Well, I never really planned to go to college. I was actually planning to go pro, and I was working towards that goal. I was, I think, 385 in the world. That was my highest ranking. And actually at that point, I got into a WTA tournament, which is like 150,000 prize money or something like that, maybe 200,000. Back in the day, rules are changing, so I'm not sure what it is right now. But I was actually very excited to play that and stuff. But then my parents, who were basically my main sponsors, they had financial hardships, so they said that they wouldn't be able to continue supporting me on that scale anymore. So I just had to really find a way to continue playing tennis and continue pursuing my dreams without being such a burden on my parents' finances. So college was actually a great option like that, because I figured out that I'd be able to train, I'd be able to have a coach, I'd be able to play and compete, and even maybe play some pro tournaments while I'm in college, without having my parents pay for that. So that was actually a really great decision for me. So with that, actually, I did take the GED test before I even decided to apply for colleges, because my parents always wanting me to have an education, and so I was in Florida training, and then we met somebody who was a teacher, who was in charge of GED diplomas. And basically what it is, it's a high school equivalent diploma, which people get if they had to drop out of high school for whatever reason. You know, some people have kids as a teenager, some people have to take care of their parents, you know, start a job early, you know, whatever it is. So it's a diploma that basically allows people to, get the diploma and go to college without actually going to class every day, because not everyone has that opportunity. So I fell into that category, and the teacher, I'm very grateful for her. She helped me to get that diploma. I didn't really have to study for it very much, because in Russia the school is actually really difficult, and in US it's not as bad. So I got away with passing the test without studying for too much. So I had the test even before going to college, and once I started applying to schools, I realized that actually it's fine. You know, I can use this diploma and I can use my Russian courses, the ones that I did take in school, and it actually was totally fine with NCAA rules, so I was able to get into college. When I decided that I would have to go to college, I just wrote an email, and I sent an email to like the top 20 schools in US, top 20 tennis-wise, because that's the only thing I cared for at that moment. And Clemson was one of those. And so I had a lot of responses from coaches because I was still ranked in the tour at that time. So a lot of coaches were interested. And so I just picked Clemson because, well, firstly because of the colors. It's a silly answer, but I liked my orange and purple. It was really cute. They had cute outfits, and then the coach was really nice. It just made me feel like I would be very welcome there. And so I just signed up. I committed before even visiting or anything. I was just like, hey, let's do it. It's a good school. It's a good location. I didn't want it to be too cold because even though I'm from Russia, I don't like cold. And yeah, and just, I liked Clemson, so I ended up there. So for women's tennis, it's actually amazing because 8 players are able to get a full scholarship in Division 1. I was one of them, and I was able to just go and do everything for free pretty much. I had my housing covered, I had my books covered, I had my education, my classes covered, transportation to and from tournaments, of course, uniforms, rackets, you know, you name it. Even the food, we had a meal plan in the cafeteria, so that is a full scholarship, and includes any medical, covers any medical issues that you might have. So it's great. You really don't need to do anything by yourself. I mean, you don't need to pay for anything by yourself. The only thing you don't get is you know, your daily, you know, if you want to go to a coffee shop, if you want to go to buy yourself a pair of shoes outside of tennis, that is definitely not covered. I hear that now they start giving athletes, in some schools, they do give some money to spare like that, but not back in the day, sadly. Oh, yeah, sure. That's a great question. It brings back really good memories. We had to wake up really early. Most of the days we had gym at 6:30 a.m. So we would walk to the gym for about 20 minutes, then go for the workout for about an hour. After that, you have to go to the recovery room, go do your ice bath, which I try to always skip because I hate ice baths, but they're good for you, so don't skip on ice baths, kids. But yeah, and so after the training room, you go to class at about 8:30. And then you stay in classes. You know, you have to sometimes travel from classroom to classroom until about 1:30 p.m. You go get a lunch, and then you go straight to the tennis courts where you have about maybe 3 hours of practice. Clemson and most top schools do practice almost the maximum of 4 hours that NCAA allows, so it is quite intense. I didn't mind it, of course, because I was actually really interested in getting better and training a lot. And then after the classes, after tennis, you go back to your dorm or anywhere, library, and you have to do your assignments, your homework. And that's pretty much it. On the weekend, you would be traveling. How most of the time, sometimes you get a free weekend, and then you can catch up on your homework and do anything you want to do with your friends. So something like that, that would be your typical day. Traveling, if you like your team and your teammates, it's always super fun. I loved it. On a Friday or Saturday, you would load up in a van or an RV, depending on how far we would travel. The shorter the travel, of course, the van is okay. If the travel is really far, we would also fly, so it's not uncommon to be going by plane to a place if it's like, you know, more than like 6-7 hours of drive. So they try to make sure you're comfortable while you're in on the bus or whatever, because of course you have to play a match after. And then, you know, we would stop as a team, we'd stop for dinner, we'd stop for lunch. Most of the time the coaches would actually just pay for our meal all together, so they wouldn't give us money, but they'd tell us that we can get whatever we want, or sometimes there are some restrictions as to what we can get. You know, appetizer, dessert might be not included, but of course you get the main meal. Sometimes dessert as well, sometimes if you win. Sometimes we would get per diem if it's not possible for the whole team to eat together, such as for spring break, or if there's a few restaurants in the airport and somebody wants to eat in one place, somebody wants to go somewhere else. But I don't remember exactly the amounts per diem, but it was enough. That's all I can say, is they wouldn't really make you starve at all. And there would always be snacks and like cookies and bars and whatnot, Gatorade in the van or in the bus, whatever we're using. So, you know, the food was never really an issue at all. And yeah, it was super fun. You're sharing a hotel room with your teammates, usually with your double partner. And yeah, like after you're playing is obviously fun, but then in the hotel room, we loved it because in the dorm you get a regular bed, like twin size or whatever. And then in the hotel you get a big, nice bed that's made for you, and that was amazing. And of course, good restaurants too. That's good memories. I think really the key to be successful in college is to have a good career as a student athlete, whether you're a tennis player or whatever else you're doing. I think the key is to be disciplined and really to remember what you're there for. So you can't spread yourself too thin. You can't just go and party with friends and do things that other students would do when you also have, the sport that you are committed to. You gotta remember that the sport is really what's paying for your scholarship. You're there because of it. Of course, you're there to also get a great education, but you have to make sure that you kind of owe to your coach and to your team to perform well because they brought you there. Yeah, and once you remember that, once you're committed to your sport, I think it's also very important to enjoy it, to be passionate about it. In my case, I would never want to just go and travel somewhere, enjoy my free food and hotel, and not win. Like, that would ruin the mood for me. I have to go and I have to perform my best. I have to win. I have to make sure my team does well. And if that happens, I'd come back happy. I'm excited to get my homework done. I'm excited to get my classes. I was always competitive too, so we always had like those, who has the highest GPA in the team. And we ended up having like everyone with amazing GPA because everyone was so competitive. Everyone wanted to beat each other, but not in a bad way. Like we wanted to see each other succeed. So that kind of healthy competition really helped us as well, I think. So right now I live in Cayman Islands. I work as a tennis coach and also as a personal trainer. So I do personal training at a Clemson hotel here in Cayman. And of course the tennis part. So I do work with kids, adults, and also a few competitive players who might be going to college as well. So we'll have that conversation with them too. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible, and it's definitely a great option to go to college first and then go pro. I feel like a lot of times people think that they're gonna go pro after college and then they get distracted with partying, something else. But that probably means you weren't cut out to be a pro anyways. If you do stay focused, if you stay out of your injuries and stuff, college nowadays, the level is so high that you can really train your way up, and when you're done with college you can definitely go pro and be very successful. And all that training you're doing for 4 years, it's free. So meanwhile you're not wasting your money, you're not wasting your resources, you're just doing the best you can, getting education, getting your plan B, and then you're free to go and play pro. Tennis nowadays, actually the tennis players are getting older, like at 35, Roger is still winning, right? There's other players who are close to his age or even older who are still playing on the tour. So it's definitely possible, and you get out of college at like 21, 22, so you have plenty of time. There's really no rush there. For me, success these days is just doing what you love and just being happy. And I think it's very important to have that balance in your life. People chase money, people chase success as in like, you want to have your own business, you want to win tournaments, you want to get trophies. But the truth is, sometimes even when you do all that, you're still not truly happy. So for me, success, my personal success, is for me to be happy and satisfied with my life, whatever I do. So, it's a process. It's not overnight. It's not something that, I'm working towards it right now. But I feel like you just got to find what makes you happy. A combination of things, your family, your loved ones, your career, your friends, and all that stuff. And, when you put it all together, I feel like that's your personal success, because that's what matters the most, for me at least. Absolutely. Sports open a lot of doors for you. Whatever you do, even when you go and get a job, even if it's not related to tennis, I guarantee you that, if the person that's hiring you sees that you have the work ethic that requires to be a student athlete, you have that, they're going to be much more likely to hire you versus the other person who's just able to go through college without doing anything else. It's a life experience that it gives you. You learn to manage time. It's time management. It's stress management, because you're going through so much as an athlete. So if you're able to do that, you can do anything else in life. And just outside of that, just outside of jobs and hiring, like you meet people and you travel places where you never would normally go to. Right now I have friends. All of my best friends are pretty much from different countries. I have friends from Indonesia. I have a friend from Germany, Italy. What else? States, Russia, where she live now? Taiwan. So, they're all over the place. So I would love to just one day, that's going to be my equivalent of success. I'll just go and travel the world and visit all my friends. And I have a friend almost in every country in the world. And, how many people who never played sports can say that they have that? I think that alone is just amazing. And it's interacting with people from all over the world teaches you so much. It's an invaluable experience that you can get. Sure. Well, good luck with everything, whatever you end up doing. But I will just give some tips if you do decide to go to college. There's something that I wish I was told before I would go to college, but of course I wasn't. So I just learned that now. So number one, I would suggest that before you commit to any school, you request an official visit. The official visit can be paid by the school, and the coaches don't want you to know that because they do love that the internationals often do not request official visit. I think it's very important because you get to learn about the school you will be spending 4 years at. You'll meet the coach in person, you'll meet your team, and often, you might love it absolutely, or you might realize that, oh no, this is not for me. So official visit is very important. Number two, watch for a great coach. If you are planning to go pro after, it does not matter where your school is located, what's it ranking and stuff. If you have a great coach that is going to believe in you, trust, you trust the coach, the process, it's going to be the best experience ever. If you hate the coach, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to be wanting to be there at all. And number three, again, coaches don't really gonna want you to know that. Do take internships as much as you can. I know you're gonna be busy. I know it's gonna feel like there's literally no time at all. Do it anyways, because if you do end up going somewhere, with your career outside of tennis, it's so important to have experience. Nobody's gonna hire you if you have no experience. And often student athletes miss out on that because they're so busy. But trust me, you can find time. You can find a position that's right for you, but do it anyways, no matter what, because it's so helpful for your career. So those are my 3 tips that I wish I've known before I went to college.
Thank you for the tips, Yana. And before we end this interview, I would like to ask you about the World Cup and what's your predictions about the following matches: Russia versus Egypt, versus Uruguay, and also Morocco versus Portugal and Spain.
Oh, World Cup. I wish I was there right now. It's in Russia, and I am so sad that I can't be there right now. Well, predictions. I don't know nothing about football. I'll tell you that right now. I am horrible, horrible, horrible at it. But I do watch World Cup a little bit because, it's World Cup and it's in Russia. So I'm hoping that Russia will go past Egypt. I don't believe too much in Uruguay situation. That might be tough because it's a good team. But I'm hoping that, they beat Saudi Arabia. I'm hoping that Egypt's going to be okay. Fingers crossed. Morocco versus Spain. You guys have a bad group, like Spain, Portugal. Ugh. Good luck, though. Good luck. It's going to be a tough one for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but let's see. Hopefully, we can get some wins. Both of us, why not? Can qualify and go further in this World Cup. Thank you so much for sharing with us your student athlete experience and for all your great advices. It was really a pleasure having you with us here, and yeah, and wish you best of luck in your life. And thank you again, and hopefully you can catch up soon again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And hopefully that everybody that's watching, to all the athletes that are watching, good luck with your career. And I hope that it was informative and somewhat useful. And so hopefully you have a great career, whether it's professional or college.